Hi, let's say there are three things that determine the results you produce. The first is your intention to produce a certain result. Second, the mechanism that will help you produce it. And finally, the externalities, the things that are outside your control that could help you or get in your way. So let's take an example. Suppose the result I want to produce is to go from Mumbai to Delhi. The first thing I need is the intention to go to Delhi. The second thing I need is a mechanism that will help me get there. Let's say a train or a bus or a flight or a car. And I need a mechanism that will take care of any externality. If the externality is that there's fog in Delhi airport and all flights are cancelled, I might switch my mechanism to a train. Now let's say the sum of all these factors adds up to 100%. What percentage of the result do you think is determined by your intention? What percentage is determined by the mechanism? And what percentage do you think is just fate or luck, things outside your control? So let's explore the question before we present our point of view on this. Let's say the result you wanted to produce was to lose 5 kgs in the next 3 months. What are the different mechanisms you could use? You could jog, you could go to the gym, you could swim, you could do yoga, you could diet. There are an uncountable number of mechanisms that you could use. But if one mechanism that you pick doesn't work, let's say the gym is shut, what would you do? You would pick another mechanism, maybe jogging, if you had the intention. But let's say you injure your foot, now what will you do? You might pick another mechanism, let's say swimming or yoga, if you have the intention. Now let's say you run out of all currently available mechanisms, what do? Well, you invent a new mechanism, and you would do that if you had the intention. A new type of exercise maybe that could work in your workspace within the time you have. But let's say at the end of 3 months you haven't lost 5 kgs. What are the sort of excuses you might give? Well, they could sound like this. The gym was shut, work was really hectic, I spent the holidays with my family and they kept stuffing me with food, or obesity runs in my family, the monsoon made it really impossible. But if the result is not there, you can say the intention was not there, because there are an infinite number of mechanisms. So the mechanism and externalities are almost irrelevant. The formula therefore becomes intention is equal to result. Let's take an even more stringent example. Let's say the result you want to produce is you want to become a millionaire. How many different mechanisms are there to become a millionaire? Countless. You can be a footballer, you can become the CEO of a company, you can start your own business, you can invest, you can be a painter or an author. If you don't become a millionaire, then you can have a lot of justifications. I wasn't born to a rich family, the economy crashed, the market wasn't ready for my idea, I had a vernacular education, lots of different reasons. But are there people who become millionaires even when they are born to poor families, who make money even when the economy goes down, who fail in their first business and then create another one, and those who don't speak great English? Sure there are, because they had the intention. Intention is equal to results. This is a challenging formula as it is, because it takes away the legitimacy of any excuses we might have. But there's an even more challenging way of looking at this, and that is to flip the formula. Results is equal to intention. What this formula is saying is that every result you've produced in your life, the salary you earn, the length of your commute, your current fitness level, the time you spend with your kids, the current level of satisfaction you have in your life, every single result in your life was created by your intention. Both the results you like and the results you don't. Now this might be confusing, because you may say, no, there are times when I've shouted at my child and hurt their feelings, but I didn't intend to do that. And there were times when I didn't get the promotion I wanted, and it was definitely not my intention to mess up in the promotion interview. The reason for the confusion is because there are two things that are driving you: your creative intention and your defensive intention. Your creative intention are things you're usually conscious of. The results you want to create, the principles you want to live by, the relationships you want to have with people, and the experience of life you want to have. But there's also a defensive intention that's driving us. Our fear of being seen as a failure, fear of rejection, fear of making a mistake, and fear of being disappointed. So the creative intention may determine the result I want to produce, losing 5 kgs, but my defensive intention is afraid of being heartbroken if I fail again after trying so hard. So the easiest way to avoid disappointment is not to get my hopes high, and so I might say, I don't have the discipline to exercise. Of course, my creative intention is to create a loving relationship with my kid. But my fear of not being respected has me shout at them when they don't listen to me. Or maybe my fear of being seen as a failure as a parent has me control them too much. A lot of our intentions are subconscious, and we're not aware of all the factors that are driving our actions. But if we want to know what our intention is, we look at our results. The results we produce in our life are a manifestation of our intention, both creative and defensive. Just like you can look at the landscape of a desert or a tropical forest and you'll be able to tell a lot about the temperature and the rainfall of that area, you can look at the results in your life and they will reveal to you what your intention is. Typically what happens is that people look at the result they produced, and if they like it, they say, it was my intention to produce that result. And if they don't like it, they say, it was not my intention to produce that result. But what they're really saying is, that is not really my result. And so they don't get to learn from it. Now, my request to you is to be responsible with this concept. If somebody you know gets a serious illness, that's not the place to use this concept. Please don't think they intended to get that illness. That is a place to acknowledge that there will always be things out of our control and to exercise compassion. But intention is a concept that's useful in most normal situations to identify the subconscious drives that you have and see where they are pulling you. When you free yourself from those parts of your intention that are holding you back, you start displaying commitment. Commitment is the willingness to do whatever is required to produce the results you say you want in the face of any externalities. But there's a step-by-step way of thinking about commitment that I would like to share with you. First, make your commitment. Not I'll try, I'll do my best, I hope, I wish, just I'm going to do it. Second, you plan. Think of how you're going to go about it. If you haven't found a way forward by yourself, then ask other people, check the internet, read books. Now, if you've got a whole bunch of different recommendations and you don't know which one will work, the next step is try. When you try, you'll either succeed or fail. In either case, you can learn from that result and try something different. And once you have learned something intellectually, you practice it consistently till you produce the result you wanted. It's simple, but only if you have the intention. Here's the exercise for this session. Think of results in your life you produced as an adult that you didn't like. What were the elements of creative intention and defensive intention that combine to produce that result? Think of one result you would like to produce in the future. What are the elements of your defensive intention that would slow you down, and how would you overcome them?